ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin. We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at TexasMobileNotaryMindy.com. That's TX, MobileNotaryMindy.com. Thank you so much and enjoy the show. Hey, we're live, everybody. I probably mislabeled the episode as for Nerd Sports 142. And that's because David is working. He wanted to film the episode last night. However, I said nay because there was a little matter of the national championship game about an hour up the road from the house being played last night. Try as hard as I did to get tickets, couldn't do it.
Just not lucky enough.
Yeah, just not lucky enough.
It's so close. You almost got it. Go be a little quicker.
Yeah, a little bit quicker. By virtue of the fact that a team from Texas was not playing in that game last night, which meant that the area residents that bought furniture over, what was it, $3,000 or $5,000? I can't remember. Over the minimum from Mattress Mac at Gallery Furniture, they were not eligible to get their furniture for free last night.
Nope, you gotta start paying that off.
Yeah, got to start paying that off, and we'll find out. What the next thing that Mac's gonna bet on, but
it's gonna be interesting for see what he does with the playoffs. Can you imagine exactly what he would do?
I was just having the I was just having this conversation with my wife the other day. I was like, can you imagine if both teams from Texas made it to the Super Bowl?
Right.
You would almost have to petition. You would almost have to petition the NFL to move the Super Bowl to like San Antonio.
Right? It would have to be. You would have to hold the Super Bowl at the Alamo Dome. Dude.
I don't think that it would be capable. Now, some of these high school stadiums in like the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
UTSA. Oh, no, because they play at the Alamo Dome. You could do it. You could do it.
You could. Oh, no.
You could absolutely do it.
You could do it at College Field, Texas A&M, College Station.
Bro.
Yes, you could.
Or you could do it in Austin. I feel like College Station would be better.
Yeah, College Station would be better. Because you have to have a minimum, I think, of like a 75,000 person capacity.
Even regarding that, it would be more pure and realize I'm saying this is a Longhorns fan. It would be more pure if it was played in College Station.
Yeah. So, but by virtue of the fact that last night, the Longhorns weren't there. So, there goes the homer card, right?
Very much.
Dude, I was rooting for the Blue and Maize last night hard.
Yep.
which is going to piss off some of my old
That's-
buddies that are diehard, Ohio State Buckeye fans, but and it pained them because they're conflicted. They're like, well, I mean, do I root for a Big Ten team? I can't because it's Michigan. It's almost like as a Red Sox fan having to root for the Yankees because of situational baseball.
Dude, there is nothing that burns worse than having to do situational cheering. There is nothing worse.
It would be like a Cowboys fan having to pull for the Eagles for some ungodly reason.
Let's not go overboard now. Come on.
I mean, it's been known to happen.
Is there a situation where I would cheer for the?
To me,
I don't know, man. That's a sacrifice.
The one time that I can remember in recent history where I found myself having to conditionally root for the Yankees.
This makes you nauseous to even say it.
Dude. There is not enough holy water
to cleanse the stain.
Okay.
On your soul.
I don't believe that even the blood of Christ
straight from the tap.
Straight from the source, dude. I mean, bottled bottled at the source. There's no reverse osmosis applied to it at all.
It's not even filtered. Just right.
You don't even have to boil the hell out of it because it's the Son of God. I remember because Red Sox Nation found ourselves having to pull for the Yankees because we needed the Rays to lose, and they just happened to be playing each other that night. I'm on the subreddit and I'm on Twitter, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at all the trending stuff, right? And both timelines are just blowing up because as soon as the game was over, the Yankees did what we needed them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many people that were saying, like, now I've got to go to church. One guy said that he's got to go burn the outfit that he was wearing.
Full body wash. And
you saw so many references to Ace Ventura whenever he figured out that Inkle was, Einhorn is Finkel and Finkel is Einhorn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
But I mean, you got these Ohio State fans. They're just kind of like, "Fuck the Wolverines," They're finding themselves in a unique position where they're having to pull for another conference for the first time in their lives, and you get stuck with the Pac-12. You get stuck with the Washington Huskies
of all teams.
I mean,
to be
completely and perfectly honest with you? I think the Longhorns would have made a better game out of it.
Probably.
I mean, at no point did I think that the game was going to be a TKO. I mean, except for when, the Wolverines forced a turnover on downs with less than 2 minutes left in the game. At that point, I was like, okay, all right, go ahead and start bagging up the confetti and get ready to launch.
Right.
But I mean, for what it's worth, that game last night was incredibly well played. For the most part, it was a relatively penalty-free game. So kudos to the ACC referee crew that came in to officiate that game last night. They let them play for the most part. The one guy that I really felt bad for on the Washington side was number 73, their offensive lineman. He got a couple of holding calls and a couple of false starts called against him last night. And I'm just like, man, and then they were drive killing penalties too. I mean, just absolute momentum stoppers.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, okay, it is what it is. There really wasn't any fights breaking out. No, like dirty hits that I could see, so to speak. I mean, yeah, there was that one where they called targeting, but then upon further review, there was no targeting. So, I mean, there was that.
Right.
Which I agree with the assessment that the online or the on-air personalities made. It was like, yeah, he led with the crown of the helmet, but he made initial contact with the shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was helmet to helmet contact, but it wasn't crown to crown. It was like side glancing blows.
Yeah.
And it looked like a clean hit. I mean, it was about as gray as you can get before you start delving into the whole
right, like an inch.
This is actually illegal, you know.
An
I
inch
mean, no,
to
we're
the
not
side.
even talking an inch. We're talking a matter of maybe a quarter of an inch.
Right.
I mean, as far as just like the flexion of his neck, could have made the difference in everything on that call. But you know, hey, hail to the victors. Congratulations on Michigan winning that, and congratulations and kudos to the event staff that had to find the wheelbarrow big enough to help Dave Portnoy carry his balls out of that stadium last night. Jesus Christ.
That dude, man, he cracks me up. He does.
Yeah, I mean, he already had the merch made up.
Yep.
You know, and he on his TikTok page, he started pimping it like right away.
Yep.
I mean, you could still see them down on the field, so you know that this was like a minute left in the game.
Still damp on it.
Yeah, I mean the ink is still damp on it. The dye in his fabric is still there, you know. And I'm just like, okay, all right, you do you, El Presidente, you do you. But yeah, no, David was working tonight, so he was like, hey, you know, you guys have fun. He wanted to shoot the show last night, and I was like, no, I say nay.
Nay.
No, we are not trying to go up against the national championship game. You know, while we may not be big time, Johnny knows enough about ratings and competition for ratings that we just don't do certain things, and David, that's one of them. So, yeah. I mean, and like I said, like I told you before we went on the air, dude, right up until game time, I was doing everything I could, short of, you know, taking one for the team to try to get a ticket to that game last night. So I had resigned myself to the fact that I'm just going to sit here at the house and, you know, I'm not going to have to wait in line and fight somebody for a pisser. So it is what it is. But yeah, no, so, you know, kind of moving on here, man, you want to talk about being the last person in the world to find out something. Luke Raley, he used to play here. He was an outfielder for the Tampa Bay Rays. Was on his honeymoon. Took his brand new wife to St. Lucia for a honeymoon. He's in the pool playing volleyball with some people that were there. And you know, he gets out of the pool being named MVP of the game and goes to check his phone. He had 20 missed calls and a ton of text messages. He said it dawned on me that something happened. So he immediately called his agent, and he was informed that a deal had been made and that he was now playing outfield for the Seattle Mariners.
Oh, wow.
I mean, literally, he was the last person on earth to find out that the deal went through.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so he's like, oh, all right. So they finished their evening. They went back to the room, and you know, they discussed it and talked it over. And you know, he was asked later, he goes, you know, did it put a damper on the honeymoon plans? He's like, no, absolutely not. He said, we enjoyed ourselves. So
yeah.
You know, and I'm like, all right. I mean, at least he's being positive about it. So what this does for the Rays, though, is it helps them trim their roster and streamline their payroll, which I'm kind of sitting there going, all right, well, I remember the Rays a couple years ago when they made the COVID series, right? You know, and they're talking about, you know, they're going up against Goliath in the form of the Dodgers, if you want to call the Dodgers of 2020 a Goliath, you know. You know, if any team in the MLB needs to have an asterisk put next to their World Series title, it would be the 2020 Dodgers.
Yes.
I mean, you played at an 86 game season. shortened
Right.
because we don't want nobody getting the COVID. And they played the empty stadiums full of cardboard cutouts that had pictures of the season ticket holders.
That was the most bizarre. I don't know if it was the most bizarre. It was one of the most bizarre things to happen.
Yeah, and then
it just
and you start to see the video like leak out, right, where fans are sneaking into the stadiums that year.
Yeah.
There was a video that came out of Fenway.
Trees of in amongst the cardboard.
Well, yeah, but because it's like you can hear it's basically like you're at practice in high school, right?
Right.
Everybody can hear everybody on the field, and it echoes throughout the entire park, right?
Right.
So, I think it was the Red Sox were pitching, and then you hear this dude go, "Let's go Red Sox," and he's sitting there, dead center, like almost in the batter's eye.
Hell yeah!
This
That's
dude
what
somehow managed to climb the outside wall of the park.
He climbed the wall.
Yeah, he climbed up and over.
Yes.
To get into the game. Dude had his jersey on, right? He had a Sox t-shirt on underneath it, and he was just like, he's like, let's do this, let's go play ball. I mean, the dude was about it, man.
Don't lie. If your knees were better, that would be you. 100%, that would be you.
Yeah.
If it weren't for your knees.
Yeah, I mean, if dude, if I didn't have the joints of a 70-year-old man, I'd be all over
it. Next time we'll have him unlock the door from the inside for you.
Right? Like, hey, fucker, go open the door. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. For the Rays, they're talking about streamlining their roster, cutting payroll, and it's like, why? I mean, next to the Diamondbacks from last year's World Series run, I mean, they've got one of the smaller payrolls in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, what are they making room for?
Yeah, exactly. Like, who are you going to entice to go play in that dump? I mean, really. Exactly. In a surprise move, Blake Snell's going back to the Rays. No, fuck, he's not. No, he's not. So speaking of Blake Snell. There was an article out there today I saw, and it was talking about the 11 most likeliest destinations for Blake Snell. Blake Snell, as you know, he's the reigning Cy Young Award winner for the National League. He pitched for San Diego last year. There were 11 teams. Number one on the list, the Angels. I know. I mean, what Oakland used to be before they became the Las Vegas A's, the Angels are basically where you want to go. Okay, so all right, better comparison here. Better comparison. The Anaheim Angels are the Major League Baseball equivalent to joining the police force, and then opting to take the full-time school campus security guard position.
Yes. School resource officer. Yay!
Yeah, you do it for that patch on the back of your jersey, and that's all the clout you got. You've got all the arresting powers of a normal officer, but you're there to corral a bunch of high school kids.
Yep. Just get shit on by teenagers all day. Which, I mean, honestly, is not that different from a regular police officer either. But
right, but at least a regular police officer is out there in their shop every day on the streets, doing their work, right. Putting that good academy of training to work there. Right. So I can see that we've got two viewers.
One of them is me. Just
one of them. Full disclosure. Okay, fine. We had three. I don't know what happened. I know that we were supposed to have an audience tonight. I'm like, all right.
One of my coworkers came in and was like, "Oh God, this is what they talk about."
Look, it doesn't get any better than this, so you might as well just stick it out and ride the wave.
This actually, yeah, we've been. This is
because 99% of the time, that's how some of our detractors were conceived, as just
Coming here,
slapped their mom in the ass. They rode the wave in, and their pullout game, like mine, is weak as fuck. I'm just kind of putting that out there.
Weak as fuck, non-existent.
So,
In it to win it, man. In it to win it.
You know, nobody ever said I did anything half-assed. So, you know, it's all all right. So they're talking about the Anaheim Angels, and it's like, well, the Angels are going to have to spend their money somewhere now that Shohei Ohtani's gone. It's like, you want to look at them and go, what?
What's the
point? What?
I still have Mike Trout, though.
Why?
I don't know. Who knows?
Now they're talking about
they're just there to pad out the pad out the number of teams, anyways. They you want to talk about don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Irrelevant.
And then they mentioned
anybody in Anaheim too.
The Bronx Bombers. The bums from Brooklyn.
Oh,
No, not Brooklyn. The bums from the Bronx who play in the house that Jeter built. The pinstriped fuck boys of the American League East, who for years have done everything they could to buy another World Series title.
I love that they haven't been able to.
Yeah. I love every time that the Yankees fall flat on their face.
It just makes
or that the Yankees choke at the hands of my beloved Red Sox, who are amazing choke artists in their own right.
This last year being prime example.
No, they didn't choke last year because they didn't give me any hope of grandeur.
That is actually true.
And you can go back and, you know, hey, the replay platypus, you know, you can go back and watch the tapes. Never once did I say, this is our year, we're going to win it all. No.
You are correct. You had zero faith. Well, I don't say zero faith. You had
I'm
zero
a true believer. I am a washed again, born in the bloody sock Red Sox fan. Okay?
Yes. So you have blind faith. That's the problem.
Yes. True faith.
You have
belief in the unseen.
You're right.
Right.
Because it's not blind faith because you know exactly how bad they are. But you have true faith. That's
I've been lucky enough to have been alive to witness 4 of these miracles.
Right.
Okay. The 10 days in November, or 10 days in October, November, you know, the 2004 stretch, the 2017, 2013, 2018. So I know that they can do it. I know that the team is capable.
Not with what they have now, but they're capable.
And I will touch on why I think that they haven't here lately, later in the show, but moving on. Because, you know, I have done my diligence tonight. And I tried to set us a
notes.
I've got notes, I've got talking points and bullets that I need to hit, you know, so we're moving on here. All right. So the number 3 on this list for Blake Snell is the Dodgers. I mean,
because they need more.
You know, I would love nothing more than to see the Dodgers finish in the standings behind the San Diego Padres.
Oh God, yes.
I would love to see that.
I want to see
that not as a wild card. I would love to see them kind of just like sputter, run out of steam right there with about 15 games to go, and they're a half game out, and they can't manage to close the gap.
They just finish.
Then you look at those people, those poor unfortunate souls that are having to pay $900 a fucking seat for the nosebleed section because their payroll is bigger than God. I would love to see the Los Angeles Dodgers fail. I want to see them. I want to see them fall back as rapidly in the standings this coming season as LeBron James's hairline.
It's galloping.
Okay. Now, a team that I would not mind seeing Blake Snell go to, are the Cubs.
See, they can actually use them though. That's the thing.
They can, because they lost Marcus Stroman over the offseason.
Right.
So, the problem with Blake Snell, he's got to stay healthy. That's all there is to it. Next on the list is staying where he's at now, is in at the Padres. Padres still have a pretty hefty payroll because they still got Fernando Tatis Jr. They've got Manny Machado, who's the biggest douchebag in professional baseball, and Xander Bogaerts. I mean, right there, they're looking at probably close to just a touch over $300 million in payroll just in those three players alone.
Right.
The Dodgers, on the other hand, you would think that Scrooge McDuck was running the team. Scrooge McDuck was financing the team, and somebody roofied his accountant.
I love that visual.
And then his accountant realizes, oh, I've been roofied, and he tries to become Mega Duck or whatever, I can't remember.
Darkwing?
No, not Darkwing. He would say something like Balderdash, I think was the magic word or something like that, and like he would get all armored up like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you're out there watching and you can Google it, throw it in the comment section. Please tell me what the name of the Robo Duck and DuckTales was. Because right now I'm just too lazy to, look it up myself.
Maria will come through for us.
Right. Next on the list was the Mariners. Do what?
I said I don't even know if she's in there.
Right. Mariners are up on that list. Okay.
I just
Maria, what am I doing?
Not paying attention, apparently.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I'm sorry. We love you, Maria.
Next on the list. See, okay, my heartburn with the Seattle Mariners is they're just good enough to produce Hall of Fame caliber talent. But because the ownership group doesn't want to pay for high-end free agent talent to win a series. Oh, she's stuck in Idaho and had to use the restroom.
I mean, there's worse places to be. Idaho's pretty nice. Not this time of year.
I mean, it
sucks this time of year. Hope you like snow.
I mean, to me, the people in Idaho might be a little starchy.
Really? Really? That's where we're gonna go?
I mean, there's got to be a couple of golden Yukons out there somewhere, right? I mean, they all can't be rusted.
It's gonna mash it right in there.
Yeah. I mean, unlike these jokes, I mean, I've yet to hear a comedian come out of there with enough au gratiness to put on a good set.
I hate you so much.
Although, if living in Idaho is anything like Napoleon Dynamite portrayed it, you would imagine that the people in Idaho spend a lot of their time getting baked.
Listen, I grew up in northern Montana, and it's more accurate than I like to admit. It really is. Except for that dude with the chickens. That was weird. We never put raw eggs in our lemonade.
Right.
That was weird.
All right. So to answer Maria's question, we were talking about the Dodgers and how it's like Scrooge McDuck is financing the team and somebody roofied his accountant, but then I couldn't remember what the accountant's name was and what the name of the character is that he became once all of the Iron Duck armor kind of hit him. And so I put it out there that people in the comment section could look it up for us if they wanted to, but there's that.
Somebody was away from the radio and didn't hear the radio. Good Lord, how old am I? Yeah, it's fuck. Just saying, we're all faking it.
I mean, we could probably pull off a radio show, even though we started on the internet.
I mean, that's true.
I mean, I personally don't put a whole lot of faith into the whole radio killed the radio, video killed the radio star.
I definitely have a face made for radio.
I've been told I do as well. Fenton. Fenton is the name of Fenton.
And then that's why we love you, Maria.
It's like Megaduck or something like that. Come on.
Anyways.
Fenton Crack Shell. Okay. Well, that's the name of the accountant, but we can't remember like his alter ego, or the superhero version of him, or he wears all that armor. Anyways. The Giants. The Giants is another place that they think would be a most likely. And then she dropped out. She's like, fuck these guys. The Giants are showing up on the list as places that he would most likely show up. I don't think so.
No.
They would Gizmo Duck. Thank you, Gizmo Duck. That's what it is. The 80s television shows were just awesome.
Fantastic.
They were. The Phillies. Yeah.
Where do you think
that rotation kind of would scare me a little bit? Snell, Zach Wheeler, and Aaron Nola.
It almost guarantees he's not going to go there, though. There's no other team's going to want to face that.
Well, true, but at the same time, I think Blake Snell's got a little bit more respect for himself than to sign a contract in Philadelphia. I mean,
nobody who likes themselves goes to Philadelphia.
I mean, to be fair.
Yeah.
The only reason I think Jason Kelce stayed in Philadelphia for as long as he did is because he's like, well, they drafted me. I think I kind of owe him my career. I mean, he did squeeze a Super Bowl out of him, so
yeah.
Even though he keeps losing his ring. The Red Sox are on the list. Now, the Red Sox recently traded their left-handed ace, Chris Sale, to the Braves. Now, Blake Snell is another left-hander. The Red Sox need a left-handed arm in their rotation. I would like to say that I would like this fit. It just depends on what the contract is and whether or not Blake Snell can stay healthy. So, there's all that. The Orioles, I kind of like that idea, but at the same time, I don't. And that's simply just because they're a division rival for me. So.
Right. That could be dangerous.
And then they bring up the Mets for some ungodly reason.
No.
Because the Mets like to spend themselves into irrelevancy.
Exactly.
I mean, the Mets, a couple of years ago, they dropped like $300 million on their payroll and didn't even qualify for the wild card.
Right.
And then, they've got these power arms, like they had Max Scherzer, they had Justin Verlander, and they traded them both away at the trade deadline.
Yeah, they did.
And what happened to both of those arms? They ended up in the playoffs. They ended up in the LCS, and one of their arms ended up winning a World Series that year or last year. So, I'm like, okay. Next on the list is Colin Montgomery. Nobody has signed him yet at all. He has been quoted as saying that the Rangers are his first choice. Now the Yankees obviously want him back.
Of course.
Seems like the Red Sox are rumored to have some pretty high caliber artillery shells loaded up, ready to make a run at them, or make a run at Colin Montgomery. But He said that Texas is where he would like to end up.
Has Texas been pursuing him?
As of right now, I don't think that
should.
they've even. I don't think that they've extended him a qualifying offer. Actually, no, I think he did, or they did, and he declined it because he wanted to test the market just to kind of see what he's worth. I mean, we're coming up on. I mean, this is January 9th. You know, pitchers and catchers report in just a little over a month, about 5 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. In a surprise move, which, you know, I'm sitting there going, okay. I was pretty happy with the talks and the rumors that were swirling around Teoscar Hernandez. He was a all-star outfielder for the Mariners last couple seasons. He was being heavily pursued by a lot of different teams. The Red Sox threw a couple of 2-year offers at him. He declined everything, and he signed a 1-year deal with the Dodgers. 1 year, $23.5 million deal. It's not going to be made official until next week. So that just kind of came out of nowhere. They asked, you know, why, and he said that with the lineup that the Dodgers have been kind of Lego piecing together, he really wants to be a part of that. I can kind of understand his logic from that point of view, but at the same time, and you're just kind of like, man, it's a 1-year deal, so you know you better get everything you've got, have just like a stellar year.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your free agent market value for after the end of next season is going to be absolute dog water. It's going to be hilarious. So there's all that. Now, the only thing as far as like baseball that we've got left, now you know, obviously, no bones about it. Red Sox fan. I mean, hello. You know, for those of you who have met me, we've met. When the Red Sox went out and they fired Chaim Bloom at the end of last season, we're like, all right, fine, great. We're gonna start getting some of these guys in here that we need to put together a roster that can make a legitimate run into the playoffs and put us in position to win a World Series. And they hired Craig Breslow, who pitched for the organization back in the early 2000s. And he just starts coming out with these deals and signing these players. And I'm just like, you know, a lot of people are sitting there going, what the fuck's going on? Because when Craig Breslow was signed, you know, when the announcement was made, he said that we're going to go full throttle and pitching was going to be his priority, which to the delight of a lot of Red Sox faithful, including myself, that was angelic news. I mean, that was music that rained down from upon high, right? I mean, we're not too many seasons removed from Craigslist ads being placed out there from fans at the ballpark taking pictures of the bullpen and then putting out legitimate, like, honest to God, help wanted ads on Craigslist for pitching relief.
That is fantastic.
I mean,
that's a bold move.
Red Sox fans have been called some of the douchiest people in all the sports, and to an extent, I kind of agree. Every fan base has got them. I mean, baseball, they mostly come from Philadelphia and New York. And from football, they mostly come from Philadelphia. But anyway,
hockey from Philadelphia,
mostly
Montreal.
I mean, you want your douchey hockey fans? Toronto Maple Leaf fans.
Yes. The worst.
And don't get me started with the upstart. Oh, look, we're the Vegas Golden Knights. Shut up. You're an expansion team. Sit down. Shut up. Yes. Oh, we got a Stanley Cup. Good for you.
You're not even out of diapers yet. Shut up.
So
Love how
we lost this Teoscar Hernandez deal. We lost out on the Otani sweepstakes. We lost out on the Yamato sweepstakes. And you got all these people going over there to the new reincarnation of the evil empire out there on the West Coast. And, they're just, it was come out and said that, we're trying to trim payroll so we can make a serious run at one of these top. Yes, David. Jesus Christ, David. He's not even here, and he's still trying to fuck up the flow for the show. We're not even talking about football yet, bro.
We're not there yet, man.
Jesus Christ.
We have show notes, David.
Look, dude, I tried to be prepared tonight. Ass. God. You know what? If our viewers drop from 3 to 2, good. Go back to work.
Something more important to be doing.
Jeez.
Earning your paycheck, not fucking up the flow. But we love you,
A
David.
wet dream. Jesus Christ.
He could be raining vaginas, and he'd still be hit in the face with a penis.
He'd be like that turkey that looks up when it rains.
David, why is your mouth open?
Maria's the only one being nice. She's like, "Hi, David," with the smiley face.
We have to offset that. You can't be too nice to David. Maria, she takes up all the niceness. We'll let her deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we as co-hosts tried to be nice to our producer and got him a really awesome Christmas present or anything like that. I'm just kind of putting that out there. Yeah. So now that Craig Breslow is doing the same things that Chaim Bloom did, he's just throwing out these like piecemeal offers to these free agents. Hey, come play for us for 1 or 2 years. We'll pay you $20 million, or we'll pay you $15 million. Where's he getting his marching orders from? They say that they're trimming down all this payroll and they're getting rid of all these players that aren't costing them anything. What are you going to do? Who is it that you're going to make this just amazing blockbuster offer to that is going to piss every other team in the major leagues off? That you managed to land this one guy. To my knowledge, there's really not any. I mean, other than Blake Snell, there is nobody out there that is going to be worth $150 million.
No, hell no.
So you have to start questioning it. It's like, okay, where's he getting marching orders from? And the only thing left out there as far as like logical, I mean, the only logical place left to point a finger is the ownership.
Yeah. Well, it's not, I mean, the whole front office.
Yeah. So, I mean, Mr. Henry, what the fuck? I even saw it mentioned that, with the way that they're trimming all of this payroll, is that somebody said, well, just kind of be prepared that Fenway, sports group is going to put the team up for sale in the next 2-3 years.
Right. It would be. You better start saving up your pennies.
Right. Yeah.
I'll go halvesies with you.
Can you imagine though, man? Can you imagine, like, in a surprise announcement, Johnny Skelton and Chris Jacka are the new owners of the Red Sox. It's like
these fucking guys own the team now.
Dude, sports radio in Boston would just fucking melt.
You know what's funnier is I guarantee I would still be wearing a Rangers hat when I did that. We'd make the arrangement. I'd be wearing some Rangers shit. Fucking
I
hold
would
the
have to
Sox. No,
ban
you
you.
just
I would have to ban you from the press conference. I
I would,
really would.
no. I would be wearing a Red Sox t-shirt and a Rangers hat.
Bro, no. They would. You would talk about torches, pitchforks, and nooses would be out there on Jersey Street. They would pull us out of the front office, and they would have us hung from a tree right there in Quincy Market for the entire world to see.
Tell me that wouldn't fire up the fan base, though.
Not in the way that we want.
Nope. Hey, listen. There's no such thing as bad press. They'd be talking about us.
I
right?
want you to do me a favor. I want you to download. No, I want you.
We go viral immediately.
I want you to download the Odyssey app, and I want you to try to listen to WEEI or the other sports station there in Boston, and you tell me that there's no such thing as bad press. You've listened to the Monday morning guys, that call into the Dallas sports shows talking about, well, the Cowboys should have done this, and Jerry Jones is a fucking moron. Dude, that has no. I'm here to tell you.
They'd still go buy tickets. They still buy the merchandise.
I understand that. But you don't understand.
We go viral.
It's like that guy on TikTok. But you don't fucking understand.
No, you don't get it.
You don't get it.
Listen, all I hear is dollar signs. All I hear is social media blowing up. They'd be talking about us the whole time. We'd be viral. I would become the new Picard meme. I'd be like this. I'm not going to be in a suit and tie. I'm going to have all my Red Sox gear on. Listen, we'd have asses and seats. That's all that matters.
I get that. We would make our money back on the team. Do not get me wrong. But that's not the point. I'm not going to buy my beloved Red Sox just to make my money back on them. I'm going to buy my beloved Red Sox, by God, to where we become one of the most hated organizations in all of sports because we're giving the Yankees a run for their championship count.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying I'm not going to be in lockstep in getting those. Listen, I'm.
You're just going to do it to kind of be a troll at the beginning, right?
A little bit. I'm still a Rangers fan, but that's not going to adjust anything that I do for the organization. But come on, man.
Okay. So what you're telling me is that you're going to sneak out part of your earnings from the team, from the day-to-day operations. You're going to carve out part of your salary, so to speak, and you're going to buy a minority stake in the Rangers.
Ooh.
I'm going to be all in, with the exception of the fact that, I'm going to. Just because I don't want to pay property taxes and set up residency within the state of Massachusetts, I'm going to still hold a home here in Texas, right? But during the season, dude, I'm going to rack up so many frequent flyer miles. It's not even going to be funny. I'm going to be at my Fenway apartment. The owner's box is the owner's house, so you only get in if you know me. Kind of.
You'll get one of the penthouses there at the Texas Motor Speedway. Yeah, that's the residence you want, dude. Speaking of, did you see that there was a TikTok that I saw where there was an abandoned baseball field that they turned into a residential area? Like they actually built fucking apartments in Japan.
They turned the inside of the stadium is a self-sustained neighborhood.
Yes, it is freaking amazing. It looks gorgeous.
And gunshots in Heimer. What? Wait, what? Gunshots? You know what?
It's finger guns.
No. I have a theory. If we just ignore him, maybe he'll go away.
It hasn't worked yet. It has not worked for us yet. You can't ignore him. That's the problem.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. All right. So the Michigan Wolverines last night won the national championship outright, finished the season 15-0. They are the first Big Ten team to do that ever.
Yep.
They beat the Washington Huskies 34-13. Now you would think, okay, well, that score indicates that, it was kind of a lopsided game. The first half, it was kind of like it was all Michigan, absolutely all Michigan. You started to see that Washington was making some in-game adjustments. The defense obviously is going to develop. You're not going to have a lockdown defense for 60 minutes. It's just not going to happen. Not at this level. So, but Penix Jr., the quarterback for Washington, he ended up the night with a couple of interceptions. 2 interceptions. And he was sacked once, which is more than I can say, which is, kudos to the Michigan defense. They managed to do to Washington's quarterback that the Longhorn defense couldn't do. Michael Penix Jr., he had this air of like mysticism about him. You're like, oh, he's a great downfield passer. He's got great legs. He can move the ball. He's got good. He's got great field vision. Right. The Michigan defense put this kid through the ringer last night. He was hurting. He had one of those like flak jackets, those rip protector pads. Dude, he was grabbing the pads on his right side and pulling them away from himself after every play. Dude, he was getting put on the ground. He was getting hit. He was being pressured all night long. They only managed to get home one time and sack him.
Yeah.
And I think it was like an 8-yard loss. It was bad. Let me see here. 2 interceptions, a sack for a loss, and 59 total tackles is what the Michigan defense managed to do last night. Now, they held the Huskies to fewer total yards than Michigan tallied in rushing yards alone. So the Washington offense only managed to get a total combined 301 yards of offense last night. The rushing game alone from Michigan, 303 yards.
Wow.
And Washington only had one pass play that went longer than 20 yards last night compared to what they did to Texas the week before, exactly. At the Sugar Bowl. So, when you look at the cumulative stats and how the game played itself out last night, Michigan from opening kickoff to the final whistle, dude, it was a fun game to watch. And I wouldn't say it was an instant classic, but it was definitely a historic game. It's going to be the last year of the 4-team playoff format. This is the 10th year of the playoffs for college football. Next year, they're expanding it out. They're going to have 8 teams. They're adding 8 teams, I think it is. Anyway, so they're going to an expanded playoff format for next year, which it's all about money at that point. And the only thing that I'm going to say is that the players that are putting their bodies out on the line for these schools are making hand over fist on these kids. And I'm not saying pay these kids a salary or anything like that, but these kids need to share some of that revenue.
Right.
The biggest disappointment out of last night's game is the fact that EA Sports did not fulfill their promise and drop a trailer for NCAA college football.
Of course.
They were building it up all week.
Yeah.
And all of these gamers all these streamers were talking about, I can't wait for this trailer's going to be fire.
It's EA.
Nothing.
Dude. They should have known it was coming.
But EA has been working with the NCAA for a couple of years now to get this game put back out.
Yeah.
And because, it's like, all right, college football.
Their most popular titles.
Well, I mean, with the exception of your diehard players, Madden has just kind of fallen off to the wayside here for the last couple of seasons, right? So, EA Sports, who puts out Madden, is like, hey, we need to infuse some excitement into our football division. Let's bring NCAA back. And they dropped that at one of these, not the E3, because the E3 has been permanently canceled, but
yeah,
they let the news leak out there into the Twitterverse, before it became the Xverse or whatever. I don't know. I'm still going to call it the Twitterverse. In fact, if you tell me not to call it Twitter, I'm going to call it Twitter even harder.
Yes.
So, yeah. But if they're going, like these kids that their likenesses are being used for things like covers or even in the game.
Mm-hmm. Even their names.
Yeah, even just the name.
This is just their names.
Just the name. Cut a piece of that revenue off. Now, if the kids, once they graduate school or they go pro, then they can get access to those funds.
Yeah, even if you put it into a pool or a trust or something, at least they have something, to kind of fall back on.
Yeah. If they get hurt and they're told, hey, you can't play football anymore, you can't play this sport, or that can't play that sport, but they're still having to try to figure out how to pay for their education because they were there on a scholarship, give them access to that trust and go from there.
Yeah. Give them a little golden parachute.
Yeah, so to speak. But, obviously education's got to be the priority there. But, Jim Harbaugh even said something about it during the pressers leading up to the game last night. And he even stated something about it during the post-game interview, post-game conference, about some of these athletes being able to share in some of the revenue. And I figure Jim Harbaugh at this point, he figures he doesn't have anything else to lose because the NCAA's already got it out for him. So, yeah. But it's a good game to watch. I'm glad that we pushed off the show till tonight. So that way I could watch it and, give it the attention that, it deserved.
How bad would it sucked if we'd have put it off and then the game just was 63-3 blowout again or something.
We still would have given us something to talk about, but
that's true.
Mostly I was holding out hope.
You want a good game if you're going to have it.
Yeah. But I'm sitting there watching in the pregame stuff, right? In the opening ceremonies for the game. And I'm just like, kept checking my email and like, nope, I'm not getting the ticket for the game tonight. So just put my phone down, just watch the game.
How bad would it have been if last second you get the notification you got the tickets and you'd already put your phone?
Dude, I'd have been in the car. It would have taken me 35 minutes to make the hour drive to NRG Stadium.
We'll catch the last half. I don't care.
Oh, dude, no. I'd have been there before halftime. Absolutely.
Anyway. How would you know if you didn't have your phone? Like I say, you put your phone aside and you just decide not to check it anymore.
Well, once the game started, then the event's closed. So, all right. Now, according to my notes in my itinerary, we're supposed to go over some NFL stuff here, but it is 8:30. So what I'm going to do is,
you gonna do it? We got it this time.
I'm going to try to get Colin in here real quick.
Yay.
There he goes. There's the link. It has been delivered and read. So I'm going to give him a second to get logged in here. For those of you who may be tuning in for the very first time, my 14-year-old son, Colin, he's become a staple of our program here
Beloved
Nerd
Colin
Sports.
Farrell.
He's really the glue that ties the whole room together. So
He is.
speaking of which, what is up, my guy?
Yo.
Can you not hear me?
Loquacious as ever.
Okay, there. I'm in the show now.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I was in backstage.
I know. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right. Awesome.
That's the quality programming we're at.
Remember that skit that was on Conan like years ago? In the year 3000. Modern technology, people. This is a wonderful thing.
Yep.
But don't worry. We've heard from the Jonas Brothers, and everything there is just fine.
I, for one, feel better.
Yes. So, if you get that reference, that means that you're probably old enough now to where you can start thinking about things like icy hot or biofreeze before you go to bed. Okay.
Heartburn medicines and
Yeah. You ready, bud? Because Colin wasn't with us last week because he had just gotten home from my house. He was kind of tired and really he didn't have all of his faculties about him to bring forth the quality that we have come to know and expect. So we gave him the week off last week, and he's had an entire week to kind of freshen up and hopefully return to top form. So, Colin, you ready to go?
we're expecting big things from you this week.
I can tell that he's excited to be here because he's playing a game while he's talking to us.
This game today.
Ooh.
Oh,
Good.
okay. Is it any good? It's okay. All right.
It's okay.
Well,
Ringing endorsement.
right. There you go.
Johnny, I don't hear anything.
Are you gonna play the intro or?
I'm doing it now.
It's not coming.
We can't hear it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Wow.
I heard you mumbling with it, but I did not hear anything.
What in the hell? Okay, so that one's not. It's turned up all the way. Let's try that again. Nothing? What in the actual fuck over? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it old fashioned.
Do it.
God, I love technology.
We need to have somebody animate that and just release that on YouTube.
Right? Do it like Afro Samurai style.
Yeah.
Or Samurai. Yeah, Afro Samurai.
Afro
or
Samurai.
Boondock Samurai.
Yes.
Yeah.
Samurai Jack.
Can we hear that?
No.
Oh my God.
You know what it was? David popped in and his little gremlin bad juju shit just came over and just knocked it off the air. That's what it was. We'll blame David.
Yeah, I honestly don't get it. Because my sound effect bar is on. Yeah, it's on. And it's not muted.
Yeah, and your audio is coming through just fine. Did one of the channels get muted?
No.
On your on the soundboard?
I'm gonna try this one more time. I bet when we go to the playback, it's gonna be there the whole time. No, nothing here. Hold on here. Nothing?
No.
For the first time in a while.
Like very, 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 very faint. Like it is playing, but the volume is all the way down.
It's all the way up on my end, and that's so disappointing. So we're gonna okay. All right, Colin. It's joke time with Colin, everybody. There's your intro for the week. Jeez. I had such high aspirations. Like, you know, we're getting new listeners and new viewers to come in this week, and
yeah. If any of my my new coworkers are here, this is par for the course. This is the high quality programming that you're gonna come to love and enjoy.
and it's not like, you know, this is the first time this has happened to me. You know, it's not one of those deals. You know,
This is par for the course. I'm sorry to say, it's part of our charm.
go ahead, Colin. Just take it away, please.
Oh,
Just do your thing.
Wow us, my friend.
Make me forget that we're having technical difficulties on this end.
what's the difference between Neil Armstrong and Michael Jackson?
Oh God.
Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. Michael Jackson had sex with children.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You know, part of me was thinking that he was going to go somewhere along the lines of moonwalks. Oh, wow. Starting the week off strong. There we go. It's like a good cup of coffee.
Absolutely.
All right.
That's the only one I have.
What?
That's
Yeah.
We gave you a week off.
You had 2
I
weeks.
know it's source material's been kind of weak.
All right, fine. You want to stick around at least until the end of the show?
At least
Okay.
it was a
Maria,
solid.
she's like, oh, so it's happened before? Interesting.
Listen, 1 in 5 men.
My son is on the show, so we're not going to talk about that right now. I'm going to try to play his outro and then see if we can salvage.
Maybe the
something here.
outro works.
Screw it.
Up this.
Colin has been here. He is still here. And whether or not you've consented, your soul has been assaulted. My genetic code on display. Once again, everybody, this has been Joke Time with Colin. Okay.
It's not the same without the music.
I know. I've got to figure out what's going on. I have no idea. Oh, fuck's sake. Okay.
Right.
All I'm going to say is that the only reason this may or may not have happened before in the past is edging too close. And, you know, edging too long. I don't know. You kind of get yourself into that mindset of like, oh, I'm denying myself. And then when you finally get up to that point, your secondary brain goes, let's see how you like it. So,
in Soviet Russia.
yeah.
Oh, said you.
Right? Mother Russia. Edge deny you.
Oh man,
It's very strange. Had man from state come to knock on door, say, "You'll give me orgasm now, or I put bullet in back of head." But I have not had chance to use it. It does not matter. Somebody else in Moscow, they need the orgasm. Hunter Biden needs orgasm, and you have more to give than he has. So there you go. Shit. Fucking Bidens. All right. So see what I did there. Oh, I got political, everybody. Oh my god, is it that kind of show?
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah, it can be.
Frequently is.
Much, I mean, I would say it's as wrong as two boys fucking in church on Sunday, but there was two boys fucking in the Senate hearing room on a Sunday.
Yep. And how do we know?
Funny.
They filmed it.
Or am I thinking of something else about the senators that
Yep,
had gay sex?
you are correct, sir.
Yep, 100%.
Yep, 100%.
Really think about it, it's kind of funny. Like that's where they pass laws.
Funny haha or funny like what the fuck?
No, you got to say it with a voice. You mean funny ha-ha or funny queer? I like the way you talk. I guess what I'm trying to say is
Oh my god. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
don't stand up to the big girl from the dollar store, or she'll kill you.
Mhm.
All right, Dan. All right, so we had the Ravens over the Steelers. The Ravens decided that they were going to rest their starters, and the Steelers walked away with a victory on that one. They finished the season 10-7 with a 17-10 victory over the 13-4 number one seeded in the AFC Baltimore Ravens. All right, moving on. We had the Texans pick to beat the Colts. Oh, thank God. You know, the Texans.
I would have been so angry if we would have got that wrong. You had no idea.
Right? Like, yeah, because then the Texans would be going home. The Jags would have gone home, and the Colts would have won the division. You think about where the Texans have been for the last 3 years, right? Last year, they started the season off with a tie at home against the Colts. I know, I was there. Okay.
Yep. We laughed about
and
that.
then they go and they hired DeMeco Ryans as their head coach. Okay. He played for the organization. He brought an excitement to the organization. Players were excited to play for him. And then the Texans go and they pull off the steal of the century. Basically, they were expected to go a completely different direction. Yeah, well, actually, let me back that up. The Bears were expected to go in a completely different direction, and they ended up picking somebody else. I forget who went number one overall last year. Doesn't matter.
I don't even remember.
The Texans come swooping in and pulled off the heist of the year, and they took C.J. Stroud, second overall in the draft last year.
Mm-hmm.
This kid showed up and showed out, and has become an absolute leader in that club.
Yes.
Losing seasons in back-to-back years, the Texans now find themselves as the AFC South champions. They pulled off the victory. I mean, they went in, they did their job to secure a playoff spot in Indianapolis by beating the Colts 23-19.
This is after a rough start this year, too.
Yeah, I mean, it was after a rough start. I mean, and they had lost to the Colts the first part of the year because, C.J. Stroud was still trying to figure everything out. Mm-hmm. But once he got it all figured out, he was invited. C.J. Stroud was invited to Tom Brady's podcast about a month or so ago. And he took the time to ask Tom Brady for advice. That is when you know that you have a humble young man.
Exactly. He's not afraid to ask.
Well, I mean,
knowledge.
You find yourself thrust into this spotlight in a market that's not used to winning. You experience a little bit of success. You start hearing your name tossed around with offensive rookie of the year, maybe even MVP. Your coach is being mentioned in circles that talk about coach of the year. And then the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, calls you and invites you to be on his podcast. And you have it, you have the mental capacity and the humility to ask him for advice, knowing that you're having the success that you're having.
Right.
Tom Brady was more than happy to give him that advice.
Right.
And I dude, I'm happy for the kid. in no way, shape, form, or fashion am I going to go out and start buying season tickets for the Houston Texans.
No,
Not at all. Will I buy a CJ Stroud jersey? Yeah, maybe at some point.
I'm still hoping for the All Texas Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, no, we're going to get to that. Yeah, we're going to get to that. But the fact that in back-to-back seasons, the Texans were eliminated before the halfway point of the season.
Yeah.
They come out in force this year and they win the AFC South. And you know, they needed some help to win the division. And the Jags, dude, they were leading their division all year. And then they have a Philadelphian collapse. Okay. And just absolutely shit the bed.
I told you I had zero faith in them all season. I've been saying it since the beginning. I had zero faith in them.
Oh yeah. No, I know. Yeah. And you know, here I am. I'm propping the Texans up on this like soapbox here. But you know, I'm completely and totally happy with the way that the regular season ended for the Houston Texans.
Yes. And again, I'm saying this as a Cowboys fan. I'm genuinely happy that they were to, I don't want to say Cinderella season yet, but you know, there was a huge turnaround, all 180 turn for the beginning of the season. Because any regular listener,
you won't start hearing the term Cinderella being thrown around until you see Houston punch their ticket for the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So
we're
going to get into the playoff bracket here in just a few minutes, but I mean, absolutely, dude. I'm stoked.
They got a shot. I'll just throw it out.
Oh yeah. Any given Sunday, or in this case, Saturday.
Absolutely right.
Next we had the Buccaneers pick to beat the Panthers. The Panthers are finishing the season 2-15 when they dropped a 9-0 game against the Buccanneers. Man.
I can't.
People went to that Panthers game expecting to see a football game, and a baseball game broke out, dude. That's a baseball score.
Yes.
That is a baseball score, right? You know, the visitors put a crooked number up in the top of the 5th inning, and then they never looked back, you know, kind of a situation. The Bengals managed to pull off the upset. We had the Browns pick to beat the Bengals. The Bengals beat the Browns, a resting Browns squad, 31-14. A majority of the picks that we had that we got wrong for this week, just simply due to the fact that the favorite in that game were resting their starters. It's pure, plain and simple. I mean, they're playoff contenders. They've already punched their ticket, and they're going forward. So there's that. Watch out though, because Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns are coming to Houston for round 1 of the playoffs this Saturday. If I can land a pair of tickets for that game, better believe I will be there.
Yes.
So moving on, we had the Lions pick to beat the Vikings. The score was 20-30 in favor of the Lions. Now, the score is not really indicative of the pace of the game. This has been an exercise in mismanaged resources and failure to meet the standards. I mean, that encapsulates the Vikings season 100%. So the Lions, I believe they're going to play the Rams the first week this weekend in the first round of the playoffs.
You are correct.
They're going in as the number 3 seed. I've got some theories I'm going to run by y'all and when we fill out our picks for the first weekend of the playoffs. So I'm going to kind of hold those, keep those close to the vest here for a minute. We had the Patriots over the Jets. This was an exercise in futility again. Both teams with a losing season. The Patriots dropped this one that, we had them picked, but they dropped this one 17-3.
It was just a pity game at that point. It's like, yeah, give the Jets their win. Fuck it.
I don't want to say that Bill Belichick is the problem. I want to say that
he's a problem. I don't know if he's the problem.
Something is going on fundamentally in that locker room that is causing these players to go out and perform the way that they do. I don't profess to know all the answers. I certainly don't profess to have the money to go and save this organization from itself. I mean, you figure with all the money in this league that's being thrown around, you know, you could manage to have more than just a couple of teams, you know, especially a 6-time Super Bowl winning organization have more than 4 wins.
Right.
You know, you would also expect fields like Allegiant Stadium to have good turf, you know, especially because they're going to be the site of the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Did you see the video of their end zones?
It's pathetic. It's very sad.
Dude, I'm like, that's LeBron James's hairline in those end zones, dude.
Say that's some shit we'll see in Cleveland. Cleveland doesn't even look.
I mean,
that
Cleveland's got natural turf though.
Then put natural, like, and I know you've professed this over and over again. Like, it should just be natural across the board, anyways.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks natural because when you look at video and see players making cuts, the end zones look like the only things that are turf.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they got to fix that. I mean, roll out some new sod or something. Work some voodoo magic.
I mean,
I don't care.
But let's say you can't even get your stadium squared away. How are you going to get your team squared away?
Right. So, but moving on, we had the Saints picked to beat the Falcons. This game ended in kind of a comedy here. Jameis Winston, who was the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, went a little rogue. Head coach, I mean, New Orleans was on like the 3-yard line of Atlanta and went down into a victory formation, you know, where the quarterback just takes a drop back, takes a knee. He calls an audible because there's a guy who was lacking a touchdown, right? Trying to help pad his stats a little bit. Tells everybody, I know we're supposed to go into the victory formation. Guys, take the victory formation, but then I'm going to hand the ball off and we're going to run it.
Yep.
And the Atlanta head coach didn't necessarily do himself any favors. He was already on his way out the door anyway, so he probably saw the writing on the wall and just said, screw it, and just went for it. Came across the field to the Saints head coach, and he was like, that was bullshit.
Okay.
That wasn't classy at all. Like, I mean,
maybe, but come on.
I see where he's coming from, but at the same time, I'm kind of like
what difference?
That's on you for not coaching your team better.
Right. What difference does it make if he loses 17-41 or 17-48? Come on.
Exactly. I mean,
seriously.
Next, we had the Titans over the Jags, and as we have mentioned earlier, the Jags dropped this one, so we got that pick right, 28-20. Derrick Henry, interestingly enough, addressed the crowd in Nashville after the game was over. He said, "Thank you for all the memories." I mean, it almost sounded like he was going to hang up the cleats, right? No, he's hitting the free agent market. He has announced that he does not want to play in Tennessee next year.
Interesting.
You know, and so I'm like, you have to ask yourself, what team needs a good running back?
There's a bunch of them.
There's a bunch of them. I could think of a couple here in the state of Texas that need a good running back. Now, don't get me wrong.
I don't see him go to the Cowboys.
No, I don't either. But Tony Pollard, great running back. Great running back.
I would not be surprised to see him in Houston.
That would be a division rival on top of that.
Right. Right.
You know, I mean, Houston would probably actually, I think, I mean, the closest that he'd be able to get to his alma mater of Alabama would be to play for the Saints.
Yeah. Which, I mean, honestly, Houston.
I mean, if that's what he's going for, but hey, Derrick Henry. I know that you're not going to hear this, and I mean, if you do hear it, great, awesome. Hit us up. We'd love to have you on the show. But what they probably don't talk about in some hushed circles is that if you come play in Texas, we don't have a state income tax, bro.
Yep.
Just kind of throwing that out there.
Just saying.
All right. Moving on, we had the Cardinals pick to beat the Seahawks. That was a 21-20 loss by the Cardinals. 1 point. Yes,
Yep.
I know 1 point's as good as 1,000. But I'm like, man,
It should not have
it
come
shouldn't have
down.
been that close.
No, it
It
should
shouldn't.
not. That would
Next,
have
we
been
had the Houston SaberCats playing both teams at the same time at the Frozen Tundra in Green Bay.
absolutely, man. Those Sabercats, man, they really tore up the field. It was
They
good
did.
to see
They
them. They were
tore it
firing
up.
in their cylinders. It was
Unfortunately, because there was a language barrier between rugby and professional American football rules, the Houston SaberCats combined with the Chicago Bears dropped this game to the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay will be bringing their talents to Arlington this coming Sunday to play the number 2 seeded Dallas Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs.
I cannot wait.
I am waiting for the instance, for the opportunity, for the culmination of events to come together. The stars align where the Green Bay receivers make a spectacular tightrope catch and the receiver falls out of bounds and the officiating crew calls it an incomplete pass.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah.
On the other side of that coin, I'm expecting CeeDee Lamb to go absolutely off in this game.
It's not going to be pretty what Dallas is about to do to the Cheddars.
Next, we had the Chiefs over the Chargers. My God. Yeah,
I don't know how we pulled that out.
that was a 13-12 win by the Chiefs. I'm sitting there going, how?
I had no idea.
I mean, when I see scores like that from teams like the Chiefs against teams like the Chargers, I almost imagine, like the most homely looking guy walking into the pool hall and hustling all the old guys out of money by the end of the night.
DJ Qualls walking in.
and he just takes them to task with a house cue.
Yep.
Like the most warped house cue possible.
It's,
like,
it's just a stick he brought in off the street.
Or he's using the bridge so that way he does, you know what I'm talking about, the stick that's got the bridge on the end.
Oh yes, that's awesome.
Well, and then the next game that we had Megan Rapone and the United States women's national soccer team going into Las Vegas to try to take on both the Donkeys of Denver and the Raiders of Las Vegas. I am happy to report that Megan Rapone still blew out her ACL on the first play of the game. And the women's U.S. national team, much like in real life where they were embarrassed by the retired U.S. men's team, lost to the Raiders as well as the Donkeys of Denver, 27-14 on that one. Both teams ended the season with an 8-9 mark. On the bright side, the grounds crew in Las Vegas have an entire month to get the field ready for Super Bowl 58.
Yes, they do.
I mean, they should bring the count over from Counting Cars and see what he can do to and tell him to bring Horny with him, so that way they can work some refab on there.
Pimp my stadium.
Yeah, pimp my stadium, and bring the dude from American Restoration down.
Right.
They're like, why did you sandblast the goalpost? I didn't need you to do that. I'm like, I mean, look at it. It was rusting.
Needed it.
It needed a new powder coat. So,
Yeah.
I'm just doing what I can. So. When we picked this game, we admitted on the air that it was an emotional pick. And when I saw what transpired in the Meadowlands,
it warms my heart.
Not only warmed my heart, but
tear to my eye.
Much like the landlady from the movie Kingpin, it knocked something loose, Tiger. And I had to take a mean shit afterwards. I'm just going to put that out there.
Just your whole day feels better after you take that dump.
Yeah,
it just shines a little brighter.
Just before you get in the shower too. So I mean, that way you can kind of do a half-ass job at wiping because you got the detachable shower head and you can kind of blast everything clean.
Right, because it's not hygiene. Yeah,
you're not waffle stomping anything into the drain, so don't worry about that.
You got all the big chunks.
Right. But it's like you get that out of the way before you hop in the shower because if you do it the other way around, you might as well just go back to bed and start over. Then try again tomorrow.
Like wipe directly with your hands on the shower curtain there.
It works in the Middle East. So there's that. The Eagles went in and continued to demonstrate their December/January futility. Mm-hmm. And we hope that this collapse continues into the playoffs, but they dropped a stinker 27-10 to the New York Football Giants. And they finished with mirror records of 11-6 and 6-11. So, we can call that the palindrome game, right? And it's not that I have a big vocabulary. It's just I watched a lot of Phineas and Ferb with my boys. Just like I know what an aglet is. Thank you, Dan Povenmire. Then we had the Niners over the Rams. I'm glad that this game went the way that it actually went because it meant the number 2 seed was going to be locked up for the Cowboys.
Yes.
The Rams pulled out a 1-point victory over the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners were resting their a majority of their starters. Just like a lot of the top seeded teams were, with the exception of Dallas. Dallas played their starters the whole game.
Yep. Which,
if you were listening to the radio broadcast, Babe Loffenberg was like, why? Why are they still there?
Right. Making a statement.
And Brad Sham was like, I don't know. I don't know why.
Bold move, Cud. Let's see how it works out for him.
Yeah. We got 1 week to find out how that does work out for him. But with the Rams beating the 49ers, it didn't affect the 49ers seeding at all. They locked up the number 1 seed last week with their victory. But, it kind of gives it lends a little bit of an air of hope as far as like Dallas's path to the Super Bowl is going to be concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be damn sure that the film department is working overtime, watching tape from every one of the games from every one of the playoff teams from the NFC.
Yeah.
Then it was the no doubt pick of the week. We had the Cowboys beating up on the Redskins. This happened in a very large way, 38-10. Yeah, Dallas getting back to their 30-point plus game, winning ways. It's kind of nice to see them do something. In years past, even during the Super Bowl years for Dallas, you would see Dallas kind of just like back into the playoffs. They would bookend the season with a loss, and you're just kind of like, this is not going to be pretty in the playoffs. Or here we go, one and done again.
Got to carry that expectation through. Start it early,
right? So. But, the Cowboys went in there. They understood that they had to get some things right and, kind of figure out the ins and outs of the timing, because even though they basically stole a victory against the Lions the week before, that wasn't a pretty game by Dallas at all the previous week. So they had to go out and figure out, what do we need to do? And thank you to the NFC East's practice squad for volunteering as tribute this week's game. And then we had the last game of the last regular season game of the year was Sunday night. It was the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. This was going to be winner take the division type game. Buffalo went in there and they put it to them, 21-14. Miami actually intercepted Josh Allen on both of Buffalo's first possessions. So you were like, all right, immediately, this is going to be a long game. The Bills are going to be a wild card, and they're going to get in to the playoffs that way. But then something happened. Miami just could not put it together, and 21-14 was the final on that one, and it put the wraps on the 2023 regular season for the NFL. Overall, I think as a show we finished. I think we finished better than 75% on our picks.
Yeah, we did not do too bad. We had a few weeks where we shone.
Oh yeah,
rightly.
I would think if we were to put a GPA on our picks for the year, I would probably, and very conservatively, give us a very high B or a very low A, like a 2.9 or maybe a 3.01.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, but next year, I think what we're going to probably try to do is I think we're going to adopt a new format. We're going to go for a kind of like a panel style on our picks, where, yeah, we'll track our win-loss records, but we're going to do it as individuals. We're going to have David with his own picks, you with your picks, and mine with mine. And, at the end of the year, I don't know, maybe bragging rights, but, there might be a prize in it for the person. And conversely, the person with the worst win-loss pick record,
we get one
has
of the
to pay a penance. They have to pay a penance.
Okay. Oh, I'm down.
So it's not going to be like, hey, you lost the fantasy league type punishment. It's not going to be like that at all.
Right.
But we'll come up with something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come up with something. And knowing David, he will purposely go out and buy a Yankees jersey with the intention of making me have to wear it for an entire show.
You already know he's going to.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Or something.
So, I'm going to have to become like a football savant next year just to avoid that.
Damn way.
Because, dude, I'm telling you.
Be like Smiggle when he got the rope around his neck.
Dude, no. Nope. It's at the top of the show when I said there's not enough holy water.
If just having to root for him is bad enough, imagine having one of their items touch skin.
I will do the entire show in a pair of surgical gloves and the jersey hanging up behind me. I will not let it touch my skin. I know that sounds petty. I know that sounds contrite, but
you need to burn sage after it's in your house or something.
Yeah, because then I'm going to go out, and I understand that David's going to probably go out. He's going to go out and spend at least at a minimum of $60 on a knockoff jersey.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a video that I'm going to post of me burning said jersey.
Yes. Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and I'm going to go to like Harbor Freight. And I'm going to get one of these cheap steel buckets that's going to get thrown away.
Yes, it's going to be a ritual. It's not just going to be a soak it down and toss a match kind of thing. There's going to be a ritual involved.
There will be a ritual involved. There will be a bloody sock.
There must be a cleansing.
There will be a live chicken. Just kind of putting that out there.
and a weed eater.
It's not good to steal rum from Joe Blow. Not
Yeah.
good at all, you know. Uh
No,
yeah.
that's good. That sounds interesting. That's gonna be
Yeah. What's going to be more interesting is like, I applied for the Dow internship program through school, right?
yeah.
So if I get picked and I get hired on through this internship program, I'll be working full time out at the plant while going to school full time, right? Working the same schedule that they do out at the plant, kind of a deal.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Which means I may be absent for a lot of shows, which is going to absolutely pain me until I see my paychecks, and then I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm okay with it. But I'm still going to phone my picks in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know, David, if you're listening, I already know what the punishment that you're going to have picked out is going to be. Just be aware that I've already got a workaround planned. So there's that.
See, if you're prepared for it though, me and him.
Now, let me put a caveat out there.
Wait
Let me put a caveat. If it's a signed Derek Jeter jersey, it will get vacuum sealed and put in a box and packed away somewhere, and I'll keep it.
You know it's there, but you don't have to look at it.
Right. It's like when they were building the new Yankee Stadium. One of the concrete workers is a Red Sox. He was a Red Sox fan. He buried a David Ortiz jersey in one of the support pillars for the new Yankees stadium and poured concrete over it. And he bragged to the wrong one too many people. And news got back to the Steinbrenner boys. They figured out where the jersey was using ultrasound.
No way.
Jackhammered it out.
Oh no.
And had the concrete re-poured.
that's a next level petty. That's awesome. I love that.
I mean, that's next level trolling, and I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I love it for that guy. I really do. And I hope the Red Sox gave him season tickets for life. I'm like, dude, bravo.
What if we made you like burn one of your hoodies while denouncing the team? Depends on how bad you lose. It depends on how bad you lose, how bad we have to make the punishment. It's like if you lose by just a little bit, okay, we kind of take it easy.
See, we're speaking in complete hypotheticals here. You want to understand why?
Because you're not going to lose.
Because I'm not going to lose.
We already know. Still, you never know. You never know.
I mean, I understand that a squirrel, even a blind pig finds a truffle. I mean, I am proof positive that the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. I mean, I landed my wife. So
it's true. This is very true. I'm still not sure that you didn't use black magic and voodoo, but
no, I used the black magic and voodoo whenever, had my boys, my kids. So I mean, if I was going to put my genetic code out there into the world, it needed to be done in proper, ratios.
It had to be brought forth in such a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it did be brought forth in such a way that would just seem just otherwise impossible. It's like he knows somebody on the other side.
Right, there you go.
Okay, so moving on. We've got our picks for next week. All right, so let me wipe that out. All right, first on the slate, we've got the 3:30 game Saturday. It is the number 5 seed Browns at the number 4 seed Texans. Going to be played here at NRG Stadium, just an hour up the road in Houston. I mean, the Browns are going to be coming in. They beat the Texans 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago here at NRG, and they did it pretty convincingly, pretty soundly. The only thing to that is the fact that C.J. Stroud was not under center for that game because he was still serving out his part of the concussion protocol. Okay. I think that Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns, they're going to come into NRG Stadium and they're going to put up a showing, but I don't think that it's going to be good enough. I think that the Texans are going to win by 12. CJ Stroud's he's gonna manage the game, and he's gonna keep his touchdown to interception ratio where it's at, exactly where it's at. In fact, he's going to make his touchdown count's going to go up. So I think, if I remember right, if I did the math correctly, I think he finished the season with like 24 touchdowns to 6 interceptions.
Yeah.
And as far as like rookie quarterbacks, I think that's like the best in the NFL.
Right.
Like ever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I agree. I
mean, in fact, this past Saturday, when the NFL flexed the Texans and Colts game to prime time, that was the first prime time game that CJ Stroud had played in the NFL.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the first prime time game because they were always playing the either the early game or the matinee game at 3:30, but they were never playing the primetime slots. So he proved that he can come in and in primetime setting and when the stakes mattered the most and put up some good numbers.
Yeah.
And he made some good decisions against a very good Indianapolis defense.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Texans to win this one over the Browns. I'm saying that they're gonna win by 12 on this one.
Wholeheartedly agree.
All right, next on the docket, we've got the evening game on Saturday. We've got the Dolphins, the number 6 seed Dolphins at the number 3 seed Kansas City Chiefs. Both spout an 11-6 record from the regular season. The Chiefs have been kind of phoning it in here the last couple of weeks. Look for Patrick Mahomes to kind of step up and remember, hey, I'm a playoff quarterback. It's the playoffs. It's the first game of the real season, kind of a thing. The Dolphins, I don't think Tyreek Hill is going to be in his right mind. I know that Tua is not going to be. With the way that the Dolphins played over the last 3 weeks, I'm not saying that it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be another close game, but I think the Chiefs are going to pull this one off.
Yeah, I mean, both teams have been kind of lackluster in the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean they have been
strong, but they just kind of coasted into the end. And I know it may not necessarily show in their records, both being 11-6, but man, it was a downhill slide from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it was painful to watch. It really is. I mean, you're going to see rating spikes for any time the Chiefs are in the playoffs, especially now that Taylor Swift is attending a lot of their games. But
I can't believe we're still talking about that.
Yeah. Next, we've got Sunday at 12 o'clock. We've got the number 7 seed Steelers at the number 2 seed Bills. This one's going to be an embarrassment for Pittsburgh.
Yes.
The Bills are going to go in there and they're just going to be like, number 7 seed, huh? That's cute. Hey, by the way, we're the number 2 seed and we're the number 2 seed for a reason. Let me introduce you to the Bills Mafia, and it's
they're going to need their terrible towels to wipe away their terrible tears.
That's going to be a 10-point win for Buffalo.
Oh, please.
Next up, we've got the 3:30 game. The number 7th seed Packers, the Cheddars, are coming into town. Well, I say coming into town. They're going to show up at AT&T Stadium, and those old pajamas with like the butt flaps on them.
Yes.
It's going to be like a Norman Rockwell painting, like the kids getting the discipline, and the title of the painting is going to be like "Spare the Rod."
He's like looking over his shoulder and he's got tears.
I imagine Jordan Love being bent over Dak Prescott's knee, and you hear Dak Prescott before his hand makes contact with that butt cheek going, okay, here we go. You know, you're going to hear that.
Yes. Oh, it's going to be glorious.
38-15. That's what I'm calling.
Yeah, it's going to be no less than 15 points. As if they
the fact, by virtue of the fact that the Cowboys won their division and locked up the number 2 seed, they get 2 playoff games at home.
Yeah,
the wild card in the divisional round.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? Oh, we'll get to that in just a second. But we've got the Sunday night game. It's the LA Rams at the Lions. 6 seed versus the number 3 seed. Now, the Lions have been playing some really good football here lately.
Yes, they have. Surprisingly.
Matt Stafford is a quarterback who has won the Super Bowl. He's won the Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams. He is a veteran quarterback. Jared Goff, coincidentally, who also played in LA, is also a veteran quarterback. He has shown some very good sound game management skills. 28-23 LA.
LA.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, here's the thing.
I really see the Lions coming out on this one.
You would think so.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal. In order for them to do that, they got to get out to a fast start. The last few weeks, they have not been able to do that.
If they can score in their opening drive, they'll win the game. I'll call that.
Yeah, but
not a field goal. It has to be a touchdown. If they can,
it's got to be a touchdown. It's got to be a touchdown.
Opening drive, they'll win the game.
Yeah, they need to be up by 10 at the half in order to have a shot at this game. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I really don't. I think that LA is going to go in there and they're going to pull off the upset.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to stick by the Lions. We're going to do a split decision on this one.
All right, I made my case for the Rams. I want you to make the case for the Lions.
If
you can convince me to change my pick, now is your chance.
They finished out strong this year. Like it just I don't know, man. They're hungry. I really, really think that they got it in them. Just with the way that they finished out the year, I know they had a kind of a rough start in the beginning, and this is coming from me. All season I have not been their cheering section at all. In fact, I usually go against the Lions every single pick, and every single time they've proven me wrong.
Okay, using that logic, last night during the pregame, excuse me. Last night during the pregame, whenever the ESPN guys were doing their picks, Pat McAfee, he was told, he said, had some Michigan fans come up to me this afternoon and said, "You've been picking against us all year, and you see where it's gotten us. Don't start now." He picked Washington to win that game, and he was the only one to do it. But he wanted to scream out Michigan. He just didn't want to jinx it.
That's true. That's true. But when they still were winning when I started picking for them too, though. That was the difference.
Okay.
I don't know, man. It's my gut. I don't have anything solid to go on. I'm just going with my gut.
All right, so I'm putting that out there. Split pick alert.
It's going to be the only one.
All right. Johnny picks the Rams over the Lions. Chris picks the Lions over the Rams. All right, sir. Well, I'd say good luck to you. But I don't know. Something's just kind of telling me that Detroit's going to kind of disintegrate. I think the veteran experience of Matt Stafford he's going to go out there and he's going to pick the defense. He's going to pick the Detroit defense apart. It's still going to be a 5-point game, but he's going to pick them apart. 28-20 or
see if they can keep it close.
28 to 23. Yeah. 28-23. Yeah. All right. So moving on. We've got the Monday night game for wild card weekend. We've got the 5th seed Eagles visiting the number 4 seed Buccaneers. Now, conventional wisdom would tell us that the Eagles are going to roll in there. But logic also dictates that the Eagles have been on a backward slide for the last month. The only bright spot over their last 8 games was a kind of a backhanded victory over the Arizona Cardinals that halted a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah. Which honestly is like kicking a puppy.
It is like kicking a puppy. So,
like, the emotional pick, of course.
The emotional pick, we want to go with the Bucs.
But I don't think it's an emotional pick. I really.
Yeah, and I was just about to make that same case. I think that the Buccaneers, they're going to show up. Mike Evans is going to go off.
Yeah.
Mayfield's going to go off.
Yeah.
The running game is going to be sustainable, but it's not going to hurt the Philadelphia defense. I think the offensive woes. Jalen Hurd dislocated middle finger last week.
Yep.
He's not going to be 100%. I think that the Philadelphia woes continue, and this is going to be one of the worst seasons in recent Philadelphia Eagle history. It very, very, very may well rank right up there with the whole choking in the Super Bowl for a lot of Eagles fans.
What do you think?
So I think
10-point game.
I don't know about a 10-point game. I will fix that. Something came off because I'm over here screwing around with it. But anyway,
what do you think?
I want to see the city of Philadelphia burn. I think it's going to be a field goal at the last minute. No, last second field goal by Tampa Bay.
That would make them hurt even more.
I mean,
Fry's,
Walmart's, Best Buys,
listen, if
Costco's, Sam's Clubs, the next day are going to have sales on TVs.
If you own a business in Philadelphia, just make sure you lock up and board up your windows that night, because
that's not going to matter. They're out there flipping over cop cars and setting them on fire.
I'm saying either way, your city's gonna burn. Just make sure.
And that's when they win.
I know. As I said, they're gonna win, lose. It's gonna be bad.
If you believe in the Second Amendment and you live within the Philadelphia Eagle market, be vigilant, stay frosty, keep your heads on a swivel.
If you
are not a believer of the Second Amendment and you live in the Philadelphia Eagles market, make friends with somebody who has a gun.
If you have any Korean friends, put them on the roof.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So we're going to wrap up the first weekend of the playoffs with the Bucs over the Eagles.
Yay, barely.
So here we go. All right. We've got the Texans over the Browns. We have the Chiefs over the Dolphins, Bills over the Steelers, Cowboys over the Cheddars. Split pick alert. We've got the Rams and the Lions. I'm taking the Rams. Chris is taking the Lions. I kind of find that ironic because I have been on the Lions' freaking bandwagon all year.
and I've been dead set against them all year.
Will I find it hilarious if it works out in my favor? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm
I
not going to be surprised.
well,
I'm not
I-
going to be surprised if they end up pulling this out.
Will I laugh my ass off when I lose? You damn right I will.
Because you're going to be like, he told me not to start now. I should have listened.
Called it. He said to. Never again. Never again.
Hey, if the Lions do manage to lose, don't worry. You've got until next season before you have to worry about picking them again. So, you know.
That's true. That is true.
All right. So I'm gonna copy and Mr. Dickerman.
Paste. It's official. He's a suitor.
See, there we go. The picks now have the picks are now in you. So there you go. Let me see here.
I believe we should get we should be at the end of the checklist.
That's at the end of the checklist.
That is wow. Did it.
Yeah.
Took us a while,
Man.
but we got it. We did it all.
Well, it's because we actually had some substantive content at the beginning of the show to talk about.
That's true.
We didn't get too far off into the weeds this week.
We didn't. I did my best. I told you I was going to do my very best to get us off derailed, and you kept a firm hand on the wheel.
Yeah. At one point, though, I was almost to the point where I was just going to be like Carrie Underwood and just Jesus take the wheel.
It never goes well.
And it was the spot in the show when I realized that my sound buttons weren't working.
Just turn heads up and say, fuck it.
Right. And they're still not working, are they?
Okay.
The sound buttons still weren't working, were they?
I don't hear anything.
Yeah. See, I got to figure that out. That's annoying.
I don't hear the audio. Like I hear like the hiss of an open channel.
Yeah.
So I hear that. I just don't hear any audio with it.
I hear microwave buttons.
Your microwave buttons.
You know, like the sound, the beep. That's what I'm hearing.
What you heard was the dryer or was the washer finishing?
Well, I mean, you know, the mic is working then.
That's amazing. So you, sir, have just outed yourself. So next time that I say something to you and you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you," I'm gonna call BS on it.
Yeah, I didn't even hear
that. Okay.
Stop it, John.
Now, right, Colin, you have found yourself in some very uncharted territory because Chris and I both know that you don't truly question your life choices until you go into the soundproof booth to take a hearing test. When you got to hear the beep and you hit the button.
Yes, that's when you question everything about your entire life.
Is that a beep or is that just tinnitus? I'll take. I don't really know what I'm doing here for 400, Alex.
Maybe. No, that one sounded different. Okay, I'll take that one. I swear that was the same one. No.
The penis mighty out for 400, Alex.
Just hitting the button for. You hit the button 400 times. What are you doing?
I figured
15 tones.
CABD, CABD, CABD. You hit C on every answer, right? But I got at least 75% of them right, didn't I? No, you did not.
Actually, C in a multiple choice A, B, C, D, C is 33% of the time. So
you know, I say that, and you would think that would be the rule, but I know some professors at Brazosport College down here that specifically set up their exams
to never use C,
to buck the trends. Yeah.
Yep. That
Yeah.
used to be true. Once it became widely known, then there were a lot of people who started changing.
Well, I mean, now that there's websites like Quizlet out there,
Right.
what professors will do is they'll go out and look at the flashcards that people have created for the finals and stuff like that, or even just like exams.
And then change everything around.
And then what they'll do is they'll create this like they'll change certain like variables in the question.
That's so
It's the same question, but instead of like, how many moles are in, 1 gram of hydrogen, blah, blah, blah. It'll be
Yeah.
like 1.24 grams of hydrogen. How many moles? It's like,
no.
you're a dick. You're such a dick.
Son of a bitch.
Like I passed chemistry this past semester, like barely.
Yeah.
But I got full credit for it. I got my course credits.
That's
That's all
we've
I
been-
care about, dude. Like,
this, well, this
I mean, the guy who
insurance-
graduated at the bottom of his medical school class still gets called doctor, but
hey, C's and D's get degrees, man. That's what we've been saying about this insurance.
and I had completely like relegated myself to the fact that I had like maybe a C average. Nope. I got my updated cumulative GPA.
Yeah.
3.07.
Hey, it's over.
I still
3,
have an
man.
A. Like
Over 3.
Yeah. I look
Yeah.
at that GPA and I hear my parents and every teacher I had at Ryder High School. Now, if you'd only applied yourself, I'm like,
Only cutting off my back.
nope, not gonna do it. Nope. Nope.
Oh,
My
Yep.
mama done told me. Oh, my God.
so bad.
Like I'm firmly convinced that my GPA in high school was only as high as it was because I scored 100 in ROTC all 3 years that I was in the program.
Dude, no joke. The only reason I even graduated high school is because they counted my accounting class as a math. That's the only reason I got to pass. Well, that and my economics teacher took pity on me too because I failed that class miserably.
Right. If Maria's still out there listening, she knows. She knows, like, because we were in ROTC together, right? She was the battalion commander. She was like the senior ranking officer at our school.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, and I know, and the only reason why I'm saying this is because I know David's not here. But I was on the battalion staff my senior year, right? So you know what I'm talking about. I mean, I was a captain. Oh, I know.
Nerd.
Hey, dude, I was doing it for the referral so I could go in as an E3. Shut up.
Sure. Still a nerd. Narc.
Yeah, I mean, I was one of the only people that showed up with spit shine boots on uniform day. So, that was back when we had to spit shine our boots instead of like the suede Nuback crap that they got these days.
Yeah. You actually had to fucking starch your creases.
Yeah. Like you
I'm
became
aware.
very familiar with spray starch and magic sizing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then like, when they started like letting people wear berets, right? Like high school ROTC, and you look back, right? Even these days, right? I look at some of these high school ROTC programs like Army ROTC, and they wear the berets, and I'm like, oh, so fucking cringe, dude. Like Colin was like, oh yeah, we have a beret, and I was like, bring it. So he brought his beret down here. I shaved and shaped his beret for him.
Yeah.
Dude, and I sent it back with him.
So glad that I got out before. I was actually
yes, Maria
I was
said
actually
his
out
was probably
processing.
the most sharp. She's talking about my creases, right?
Oh,
You know how good infantrymen do it. Like you look at a pair of somebody's uniform that's got good creases and you get cut just looking at them.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, dude. I mean, I was one uniform inspection away from being like full on emo, My Chemical Romance type guy. Dude.
They're sharp. Dude, yeah. You'd starch them so crisply. You'd get home at the end of the day, take your uniform off, and it would just walk in and put itself on the hanger.
You know what the trick was, right? If you were too cheap to have Mama San press your uniforms, is when you pull them out of the washer and dryer, you spray them with starch and let them hang dry overnight. And then
Yeah.
the next day when you get up and you come back after PT,
Mhm.
you hit them again with the spray, and then you iron them out.
Yeah.
Because the starch
Yep,
that
starch.
dried is soaked into, I mean, because you sprayed them front and back. Like
Yep.
you knew that you knew you were going to have a good day if you went into muscle failure trying to put your uniform on.
Right. Trying to take that first step.
Mhm.
You're cracking.
No, just even just like pushing your arm through the blouse, and you hear that it just like it starts tearing. It's just that it sounds like Velcro. And you're saying, it's so,
Dictator.
right. Right. And then, you got your boots, right? You could shave and the reflection on the toes, right? And you knew who used the Kiwi Bird, and who used the InstaShine, right? Just by looking at their boots, right?
Yep.
Shit looked strack sitting on the on the coffee table in the barracks room. But the second they took that first step with InstaShine, everything shattered, right? Yeah, just horrible, right? We had one of my favorite Sergeant Majors, Sergeant Major West. He was our battalion CSM before he went to the Ranger Training Brigade, and he'd always, I mean, dude, he was constantly giving people shit, especially on payday activities, right? And everybody's all standing tall, looking good in their Class A's.
Yep.
We had this E5 Sergeant Merrill come back from Ranger School. He got pinned as 5 after he got back from Ranger School. Back in the days when you go to Ranger School, come back, and you automatically get pinned 5 because you max out on your points.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they do that anymore, but it used to be, that used to be the standard, right? Graduate Ranger School, when you come back, you're getting pinned 5. So there he is, fresh sergeant stripes on his Class A uniform and everything like that. Homeboy, I mean, dude, he is not back from Ranger School 2 weeks, right? He used InstaShine on his boots, on his jump boots.
No.
Oh yeah. Sergeant Major's walking up and down the line. Oh, she goes, what is InstaShine? What the hell is InstaShine? InstaShine, you basically brush it onto your boots and then you throw them in the oven. You have
like
to bake
that,
it on.
Yeah, it's like that candy shell that they use on ice cream cones. Think of it like that, and it cracks just like it.
Yeah, it looked good as long as you didn't have to put them on.
It looked great on the shelf.
Yeah, it looked great on the shelf. I mean, if you want to put a, InstaShine's the kind of thing that, let's just say the dirtbag of the company gets killed somehow, like he unalives himself, like in a DUI accident or something, right? And he's getting buried in his best uniform stuff. His friend, I want him in his Class A's. Well, put some InstaShine on it. It's not like he's going to have to worry about it,
Yeah.
Now, for somebody that you care about, the Kiwi Bird's going to make an appearance along with some cotton balls and some rubbing alcohol.
Lighter.
And an ice cube. Oh, the ice cube was ish, dude. But, and if you did it right, you could spit shine the boots, like front to back. Look, honor guard inspection ready. And you only killed an hour while you're sitting on the couch with your wife watching TV.
Yeah, it wouldn't take that long.
Especially if you had a good base shine, right?
Right. You see, you just touch it up.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So here's Sergeant Merrill. He's out there. First uniform inspection back after, graduating from Ranger School. Sergeant Major's walking up and down the line, passes Sergeant Merrill, stops. Like mid-step, stops. Backs up. He does not turn around. He does not conduct an about face. Okay. He does not conduct an about face. Like he stops and reverses direction, right? Conducts a left face. Does not even make eye contact with Sergeant Merrill. He is like this. Looking straight down, right?
What are those?
He's like, Sergeant Merrill. Bless you, Colin. He's like, Sergeant Major. He goes, what is the third stanza of your Ranger Creed? You take too long. What is this on your boots? Where does the Kiwi Bird reside? Not in your wall locker, I'm betting. Right? And then takes his boot and scuffs right across both toe caps.
No.
Yeah. He's like, you will be in my office Saturday morning in full dress, Class A's, with a properly shined pair of boots, and your entire Ranger creed memorized front to back. Cool. He's like, "Cool, Sergeant Major." He's like,
Fixing
"Carry
those
on, Ranger." And then he just keeps
suckers.
walking. That was it. That was it. That's all he did. Right. Sergeant Major West was a great guy, you know. So I mean, like, we walk out of the barracks and it's like 15 degrees outside, and there's probably about 6 inches of snow on the ground. They had not closed post for some ungodly reason. And me and my buddy Mike Byers are walking out of the barracks, and we're walking up to the company, and we see Sergeant Major West coming out. And we're like, "No slack, Sergeant Major." And he goes, "Well, gentlemen, what do you think?" We're like, because I mean, all we had like was the we didn't have our PT sweat bottoms on. We just had the top, because that was the uniform, like show up your top and, you know, beanie hat, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. So we're like, well, it's a little chilly out here, Sergeant Major. He goes, "You know what I'm thinking?" We're like, "No, we don't, Sergeant Major." Thinking of Zonk. And he's like, "Yeah, why don't you two go ahead and that's exactly what I was thinking. Why don't you two go back to your barracks?" We're like, "We've got to go report for accountability." And he goes, "I'll take care of that."
Hell yeah.
And we looked at him, we were like, all right. So we just poof, we disappeared, right? Cloud of snow and dust just in our wake. And so we're sitting in the barracks and we're chilling. We're drinking coffee and we're playing Super Nintendo, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're just like, what are we supposed to do with our hands, you know? And our platoon sergeants come walking into the barracks, and we're like, "What time are we supposed to show up for work, Sergeant?" He goes, "Why in the fuck aren't you at PT?" We're like, "Sergeant Major West told us to come back to barracks." He goes, "That's bullshit." It was like, "You come back and you report to us anyway." We're like, "He told us that he was going to take care of it." Like, did he not call? Yeah, he called, but we still expect you to be there. We're like, we were doing what the Sergeant Major told us to
Has
do.
more rockers than you do.
Like, you know, that whole, in the absence of leadership, you go off of the last order given. We were told to go back to the barracks because Sergeant Major was going to zonk PT.
Yeah.
And so Sergeant Major just happened to be like going around, and he found out that we got our asses jumped out about it. Dude, that was not a fun day for us. Oh, that was not a fun day at all.
So,
like, I mean, everybody came back to the barracks and, you know, like no PT. So I mean, we're zonked out, you know, reported 09 kind of a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just about to go over to the chow hall. And, you know, we're just like, do. What do you mean we were doing what we were told? Don't hit me, Daddy. You know, it was one of those situations.
My daddy said
I was just doing what the Sergeant Major told me to do. It's leadership like that I missed, you know, that I miss the most, right? And it's leadership like that you just wish to God existed still. You know, I mean, you cared more about, you cared about the mission and everything like that. And, you know, you knew that if you take care of your people were going to take care of you, kind of thing. And it wasn't so much of an NCOER or an OER centric, you know, military. And I just think that, I think in a big way, that's what's caused the lack of retention, you know, across the Army and across the military period.
You see it on Facebook every day.
Yeah, like WTF Army moments. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Exactly.
You know, I mean,
boy, they've had some doozies lately.
Oh yeah, I've seen that, but it's like it's 3 M's, you know. And Shane Bothwell, really great soldier when I served with him. He was E4 Sergeant Bothwell, actually. He was E5 when he left us. But he said that there's 3 M's that you have to abide by. You know, just you could break good leadership down into 3 M's: men, mission, myself. And that became an ethos.
In that order.
In that order: men, mission, myself. You take care of your guys, they'll take care of the mission, and then you can worry about yourself at that point. And I mean, you hear that as a private, it makes sense, and it's almost like an epiphany. And it doesn't really click until you're older and you're put into a position of higher responsibility, like fatherhood. And even on the outside in the civilian world, as I'm sure that you're aware, Chris, it's like if more people would adhere to those 3 M's in that order, the world would be a lot better place.
Big time.
I mean, there wouldn't be companies accepting advice from outside sources just because of A, B, and C, and they wouldn't be latched onto the teats of certain alumni associations, because it makes them feel good. It's like, no, how about you take care of the people that that got you there?
Exactly.
And then, if you're taking care of them, hey, guess what? You get a 2 for 1. You take care of your men, take care of the ones who brung you, and they're going to take, and you're taking care of the mission at the same time. Then you worry about your own ass. Just kind of putting that out there. I know that seems kind of vague, but if you know, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
But well, we're at the 2 hour and 20 minute mark. I know that we could probably, sit here and jam for like another hour or so, but Colin has got to get himself into bed and get ready for school tomorrow. What you got there, bud? Magna book. Okay. But yeah, so yeah, we're gonna land this plane. We're gonna wrap this one up. Hey, this football season has been, pretty fun. We've had some pretty involved conversations. I can think of maybe a couple of singular incidences where David had like some kind of like Mensa level seizure and picked the right team on his own, kind of a thing.
Was that about a blind pig and an acorn?
Sun on a dog's ass, yeah, no, same thing, yeah.
Right.
I mean, you put lipstick on a pig, and it's still just a hairy, creepy guy who produces a podcast. Just kind of putting that out there.
Just saying.
Yeah. So 2024 is going to be a pretty good year. There has been a delay as far as the launch of our website and merch section. So we do apologize for that. I'm trying to work some logistics and stuff out on my end, so that way the powers that be, i.e. myself, Chris, and David, can all sit down and we get it going, get it up and, going in the right direction. It's cathartic for me at the very, personally, for me to come on this show every week and just be able to kind of sit here and talk out of my backside and at least give the appearance that I watch sports, so
I like to pretend anyway.
But at the end of the day, I see how our show has evolved, and it's from where we started, and David and I stuck in that one room, staring at the table from across from each other, to being on separate windows, on the broadcast, because I've got my place and he's got his, to now I've got my own full-fledged office, and then we've got Chris and we've added Colin to the show, and our equipment has gotten better. I'm looking at you, soundboard. The freaking hot button's not working this week. Fuck is your problem, man? Anyways, I'm going to try this again here. Hold on. Let me see here. There's that. No, nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
No.
Nope.
Did you hear it right then?
No.
No. Let me try that again here. Hold on.
Don't hear anything.
No. Yeah, nothing. So, what's going to end up happening is that David's going to be like, "Hey, did you do this?" I'm like, yeah, I did do that." And then he's going to go in there. He's going to fiddle with some audio setting.
He'd be like, "You didn't do that at all."
And Maria's like, "Stop fondling your soundboard." I'm not fondling the soundboard. I'm not sitting here going, "Oh, I'm not caressing it like it's a nipple." I'm not putting it between my teeth and biting down on it. I'm forcibly fingering this board. like
Taking the hell out of it.
I refuse to stand by and be a victim as your brown eye makes me so blue. So I'm just trying to plug it right there. It's
Wow.
Oh,
That's how we're gonna end it right there.
he brought out a Crystal Gale reference, and that just boom out of nowhere.
Hey.
It's I have uninstalled Facebook Messenger from my phone because I'm taking a break from the app for a while because my phone battery was just absolutely getting murdered on a nightly basis. So I'm not able to respond to any messages in the thread. But yeah, no, we've gone from, basic rudimentary stuff. David's doing all the heavy lifting. He's producing all the content. He's coming up with the shows. To where now David feels comfortable enough, yeah, I mean, he feels comfortable enough letting us run the show on our own, but yeah,
that's quite the confidence there too, because we don't know what the hell we're doing.
I mean, he still does all the editing, so
that's true.
Like, he's probably going to go back and edit this show to make it from like an hour and 26 minutes to like an hour or 2 hours and 26 minutes to an hour 10. He's like, well, there's so much dead space and dead air. I'm like, you know what, dude? It's called flow.
Collecting our thoughts.
Right?
Which, I don't know. And like I said, it's part of our charm.
It is. It is the magic that is us.
We're not. It's not dead air. We're giving the audience time to catch their breath.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, we are allowing their senses to regain nerve connection at that point.
There you go.
Or reapply the anal-ese. I mean, it's just, whatever you prefer. I mean, just remember, it's ribbed for our pleasure.
Potato.
Potato. Like, what's anal-ese? No, I'm not quitting. Like I said, I'm just allowing my phone battery to, breathe. But that all being said, 2 hours, 27 minutes, 28 minutes on the dot. Yeah. My name is Johnny Skelton, everybody.
I am Chris Jacka.
Colin Skelton.
You have been privy. You have been privileged. You have been forced. Indentured. Yeah. Nerd Sports 142, everybody. We will catch y'all. Yeah, Maria, letting your brain catch up. Exactly.
See?
Yeah. See?
That's why she's a diehard.
She is. And in the immortal words of the late great pirate Captain Pinkheart, scissor me timbers.
Later.
You're never gonna let that go.